Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. Mixed views on new DLP President Dr. Yearwood. This story takes the lead in today's edition of Caribbean Perspective for Thursday, 5th May 2022. Details when we return.
Hubbard's Motor Department Mount Gay and Hubbard's Tire Bay, located at the Building Supplies Compound in Grand Anse, are reminding the motoring public that another round for licensing and inspection has begun. Just arrived on new shipments of quality furrowed and torque tires to fit all makes and models of vehicles at competitive pricing. Shop early to avoid the hassle of long lines. WhatsApp them on 473-405-5482. Hubbard's, quality service, affordable prices.
Welcome back. Political scientists have expressed mixed views on the election of Dr. Yearwood to the leadership position of the DLP in Barbados. This report from Barbados Today has more.
Deveron Bruce tells Barbados Today the UWI law lecturer may be just what the party needs for a fresh start.
I think the victor in Dr. Yearwood, I think, is the preferred victor if we're going to be speaking about rebranding, the building, and really bringing a new energy to the Democratic Labour Party. So that development, I think, can only be a positive, considering the alternative was someone who has been rejected on multiple occasions at this point at the now national and the party level. So it's a positive development, and I think that Dr. Yearwood has what is necessary to bring the energy, bring the renewed vision to the Democratic Labour Party going forward.
But veteran political scientist Dr. George Bell is not convinced that Yearwood's election will lead to any major change for the party. He suggests the DLP is still facing a leadership crisis.
This is the biggest demonstration of support for a leader in the pre-election, and it is compounded by the fact that Dr. Yearwood comes from outside of the party, and without any exposure or without to the inner culture of the party, he aims for leadership, which I think is a fairly shallow political maneuver. I do not think that he has the institutional in terms of knowledge or memory to really pull out from the Democratic Labour Party what is clearly the most. And therefore it is difficult for him to identify problems, genuine problems relating to the party that would help it to drive itself out of the present political hole.
In Jamaica, 2 unions are appealing to employers to respect workers' right to sick days as part of the work-from-home plan. Sandy Williams of Television Jamaica has more.
There are now concerns that work from home has made it harder to take sick days. It's something the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions and the Jamaica Civil Service Association have taken note of.
There seems to be a notion among some employers that you are at home, so it means that, it's fair game, open season, and therefore things like the, leave of absence do not apply. And that is the furthest thing from the truth, because all work from home does is change the physical location of the workplace.
If the supervisor calls the person when they are not well, they're actually violating the individual's entitlement for sick leave. And it's something that the employee must remind your supervisor that, remember, I'm off, I'm actually sick. Notwithstanding that I'm home, I am actually sick and I am not able to function.
President of the JCSA, O'Neill Grant, says employees have a right to report supervisors and managers who refuse to grant them sick days while working remotely.
Crime is registered to be escalating in Trinidad and Tobago, but so too are police shootings.
The Trinidad Express is reporting that 106 cases of police shootings resulting in civilian deaths are engaging the attention of the Police Complaints Authority in the Twin Island Republic. According to the Express, Statistics obtained from the Police Complaints Authority show that 32 police shootings during the period January 2019 to December 2019 are currently engaging their attention. 33 for January 2020 to December 2020, 31 for January 2021 to December 2021, and 10 for January 2022 to date. For the period January 2008 to February 21, 2018, 11 cops were charged with 8 murders of citizens.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Gary Griffith is electable as he gets the work done. These are the words of a businessman in Trinidad and Tobago throwing his support behind the recently launched National Transformation Alliance. TV6's Nicole M. Romney has more.
People may not always like it, but Gary Griffith gives the facts and he is honest. This, according to business owner Peter George. Former Police Commissioner Gary Griffith launched his new political party over the weekend. Mr. Griffith said there are many experienced and distinguished people interested in his party, the NTA. Today, Mr. George tells TV6 he fully supports Mr. Griffith.
I believe that he is electable. 2, I believe that he has a track record of success. I mean, if you recall, this is demonstrable numbers that he took the public trust in the police service from, I think, 14 or 15 or 16% up to 55%. Right? From my perspective, when he does in fact speak, he speaks the truth. Right? Whether what he says or his style is to everyone's liking or not.
Mr. George believes that since Griffith was removed as top cop, crime has, according to him, exploded.
There's this destabilization now we've gotten to a point where it has gotten almost untenable. So you've seen this explosion in crime to the day that a sitting police commissioner, irrespective of his political aspirations, who was very popular, held a powerful office, and and was not doing the bidding of the political state, that was removed. And from that day, the lives and livelihoods of citizens have been affected.
Referring to the Democrats and Republicans in the United States, Mr. George says there is no red state or blue state, adding that the only thing that separates politics in this country is race. Mr. George says it is time for citizens to take a stand, take a side, and make a change. Nicole M. Romney, TV6 News.
2 high-ranking police officers have been detained for questioning in connection with the issuance of firearms users' licenses. Urvashi Tawari Rupnarayan of TV6 News reports.
2 senior officers of the Firearms Permit Section were on Tuesday morning taken into police custody following investigations into several matters, including bribes and the issuance of firearm users' licenses. The duo is said to be detained by officers of the Professional Standards Bureau and the Financial Intelligence Branch of the TTPS and are quote-unquote assisting with investigations. We were unable to get official confirmation on whether the homes of the officers were searched. When TV6 asked if those were the only officers detained, our source said quote-unquote so far. In late 2020, a government special investigative team was engaged to look into allegations of misconduct within the TTPS. The report showed the firearms section of the TTPS was being used for profiteering. The report contained the names of senior officers and businessmen and spoke of quote-unquote bribes and kickbacks. In 2021, the former Bliss Prasad-led Police Service Commission appointed retired Appeal Court Judge Stanley John to inquire into allegations of corruption in the issuance of FULs. His report describes the issuance as quote-unquote a thriving, well-oiled, white-collar criminal enterprise. Acting Senior Superintendent Suzette Martin of the TTPS confirmed to a Joint Select Committee in February that the Professional Standards Bureau had started an FUL inquiry based on the audit contained in the John report. Urvashi Tawari Rupnarayan, TV6 News.
An estimated 2.75 million people in the English-speaking Caribbean suffer from food insecurity, according to CARICOM and the World Food Programme.
That is, they do not have consistent, or reliable access to sufficient, affordable, nutritious food to maintain good health. Of the region's food insecure population, an estimated 693,000 is severely food insecure. A notable aspect of these stats, which are based on a series of surveys conducted by the World Food Programme and CARICOM since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, is that while the broad food insecurity program remained largely the same over the past year, the number of chronically food insecure people spiraled by 44%. Solution? The region, the document said, must look to increase investments in agri-food systems, regional food production, productivity, and trade, and develop targeted initiatives to resolve bottlenecks to import reduction.
Meanwhile, in 2020, 2.7 million children in the Americas did not receive the essential vaccines needed to keep them healthy due to interruptions in health services caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, warned the director of PAHO, Dr. Clarissa Etienne.
Gaps in vaccination coverage, including for COVID-19 vaccines, must be closed, she said. While we labored arduously to protect our population against COVID-19, our routine immunization programs were severely affected. Dr. Etienne said at the launch of the 20th vaccination week in the Americas in Dominica. The Dominican press reported the PAHO director saying that, but even before COVID-19 brought the world to a sudden halt, our coverage for routine vaccines had fallen below optimal levels. According to the PAHO director, the last 2 years have set back almost 3 decades of vaccination progress against polio and measles, creating a real risk for their reintroduction.
In the British Virgin Islands, steps are being taken to have a new BVI Premier substantively appointed.
Elected members of the governing Virgin Islands Party have all thrown their support behind Deputy Premier Dr. Natalio Wheatley. Dr. Wheatley made that announcement on Saturday night as Premier Andrew Fahey remains detained in the United States on drug and money laundering charges.
I wish to advise you that the Congress of the Virgin Islands Party met earlier tonight and they unanimously voted for me to assume the mantle of chairman of the VIP. I wish to thank the members of the Congress and my elected colleagues for their support. The elected members have expressed the view that I should be appointed Premier, and we will be taking steps in this regard.
He said the decision to press forward with the new leadership is due to numerous pressing issues that will need to be addressed within the BVI in the coming days.
Hubbard's Motor Department Mount Gay and Hubbard's Tire Bay, located at the Building Supplies compound in Grand Anse, are reminding the motoring public that another round for licensing and inspection has begun. Just arrived on new shipments of quality furrowed and torque tires to fit all makes and models of vehicles at competitive pricing. Shop early to avoid the hassle of long lines. WhatsApp them on 473-405-5482. Hubbard's, quality service, affordable prices.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.